Hi everyone, hope you've been having a really good week so far. I just thought I'd take this opportunity to put a quick video up and show you about this new game that I found. You've probably already heard about it, there's a bit of hype going about it on the internet and YouTube at the moment. It's called Fractured Space by Edge Case Games, and I'm trying to think of the way of best describing it. It's like a cross between World of Tanks and EVE Online and the battle parts of that anyway. Basically, it's going to be a 5 versus 5 team game in space, flying capital ships. So not like your little nippy fighters and things, but huge, great big epic ships. Think of like the Imperial Star Destroyers and the big cruisers from Star Wars, or the ships out of Battlestar Galactica, the big flagships. And it's a game of map control, much like things like Dawn of War. If anyone played that in multiplayer, you basically fight for control of resource points on the map, which give your team resources which allow you to upgrade your ships during the battle, so you can go and take down the enemy's base at the end. There's a little bit more to it than that, obviously, but I should mention that this is the early development of Fractured Space. It's a work in progress, so whatever I show you on the video here today is likely to change from graphics to sound to gameplay. But as you've probably guessed from seeing my YouTube channel name, I'm a bit of a science fiction fan. I do like my big space battles, so I'm definitely going to be watching this one with a lot of interest. Let's log in and go and have a quick look at the ships. So there isn't much in the way of tutorials and manuals and things for this game at the moment. As I say, it's a work in progress. There's a bit of information on the screen as you get into it. There's also a few guides on the forums, on the Fractured Space forums. They're worth checking out. Me being a typical bloke, I just jumped right in, kind of the opinion that you only go and look at instructions if you get totally stuck. Which I didn't, actually. It's pretty easy to pick up and play. But there is some good information on the forums regarding the ship's weapons and stuff, so I do advise people go and check those out. So let's have a quick look at the hangar and what we've got here. So at the time of making this video, there are 6 ships in play, and I guess more are going to be added as the game develops. We've got a sniper, which is a typical long range but lightly armoured but reasonably manoeuvrable ship. Flagship, which is a bit like a tank class. It's very heavily armoured, very slow, very dangerous at close range. We've got an assassin, which is a bit like your rogue. It's got cloaking devices and it can decoy. A disruptor, which is a bit of a support ship. It can heal its teammates and itself, as well as causing all sorts of chaos. A hunter, which seems to be a pretty good damage class, and a frigate, which is a nice mobile all-rounder. If we click on any one of these, now there's going to be several factions in the game, and they're each going to have their own ships. But we can go and have a look in the dry dock, and as you gain XP in the game, you'll be able to unlock bigger and better ships, or at least different ones. At the moment that feature is disabled, obviously as that's a work in progress, but it's pretty much like the tech trees from something like World of Tanks or War Thunder, and you can see how it's going to lead on to bigger and better things. Now we talked about upgrading ships, and that doesn't really happen in the same way that you'd upgrade things in other games. Ship upgrades occur during the actual battle, and as your team acquires resources, once your team hits a certain level of resource, you can fly to a friendly base and your ship will be automatically upgraded with more hit points and maybe more powerful abilities. Well, the same abilities but more powerful versions. And basically you need to do that. There's 3 levels of upgrades at the moment, and you want to be at the top level to go and take down the enemy base. And I'll show you how that works in the gameplay bit when we look at that. Now from what I gather, from what I've learnt or heard about this, then your crews are going to be the actual things that you upgrade as you play through the game. Although your ships are always going to start the battle, each new battle in their vanilla state, your crews, I think, if I've got this right, are going to be upgraded and experienced as you progress through the game. At the moment there's a couple of stock crews, which are I think just placeholders really at the moment. They do interact a bit, so they've got voiceovers and things, which is pretty good. And it'll be interesting to see how that feature is put into the final game. I like the idea of actually upgrading the crew. So lots more features to be finalised in the game, of course. Should we jump in and see how some of it plays? I'm going to take the sniper out for a battle because I've played this one the most. So I'm going to jump in a game and I'll just explain how the map and everything works. So here we are. This is pretty much the map at the moment. I've just jumped into a game. It's currently empty apart from myself, and people will be joining. But I chose an empty game just so I could quickly go through all the different things on the map and the ship first before the action kicks off. So, best way to describe this? Well, look down at the mini-map in the bottom right and you'll see a series of sectors. You start off in the Alpha sector. That's at the bottom or the southern end of the map, depending on how you think of it. And it's highlighted in blue, as is B1 and A1 in the Beta and Alpha sectors. Now the Alpha sector is your home base. This is the object for the enemy team. They want to come here and capture it. And they would do so not by blowing it up, but by driving into that blue globy circle thing. The two bases at A1 and B1 on the map, they are friendly healing stations. You can go there to heal up your damage. Then above those you've got three little grey circles. Those are individual mining bases, and you basically fly to them and capture them as you would capture a flag in any sort of those games, or capturing a base. And once they turn to your side, they produce resources for you. And once your team produces enough resources, your ship automatically upgrades when you fly through a friendly base. And on top of the map you see the red circles. Well, the B2 and A2, they're enemy bases that you can capture, take over. And the E sector, or the Echo sector, that's the enemy home base, and its objective to capture that. So let's just move around. It's standard controls WASD just to flick around in the ship. You can also move up and down. You've got boosters top and bottom on the ship. Now you'll notice, as I've tried to swing this around, this is a reasonably nippy ship. And things don't move terribly fast, but bear in mind these are big capital ships. They're not nippy little starfighters. You do see those in the game, but they're tiny little drones that are launched from the big ships. So you see the big cannons on this sniper. It doesn't swivel all the way around. It's like a turret. So you've got to bear that in mind when you're playing. Now it's got several abilities. We've got a shield that we can activate, and that's active only for a few seconds and absorbs incoming damage. It's pretty nice, but doesn't last very long. We've also got a missile barrage we can launch off. A spotter drone we can launch, which basically follows an enemy player around and always highlights him on the map. We've got standard guns, so our long range cannon, so it takes a little while to charge up each time. We've also got a target marking ability. Now once a target is marked, it takes extra damage from all players on your team, so it's kind of, this feels like the Hunter out of World of Warcraft. Good long range, high damaging attacks, and a good support team player. Now the way you get around in this game is by, obviously you can use thrusters to move within sectors, but to change between sectors you use the jump drive. So if I hold down 4 and activate, let's go to the Beta sector.
We're ready to jump.
Doesn't happen instantly, you've got to plan your moves. You can escape from trouble like this as well, but once you're trying to jump you take more damage from the enemy, so you've got to time it well. So we've jumped in. There is a cooldown on jump drive, so you can't just jump all over the place. And also you can't jump to any point in the map. You've got to move between sectors, basically, and that's adjacent sectors. So, see, we're flying around now. I'm just going to show you how we would go and capture an enemy base if the game had started. You see the game starting to fill up a little bit now. The game is in early access, so there's not an awful lot of players about at the moment. So we've travelled to an enemy base. Now obviously because the game hasn't started, this isn't actually going to do anything. But it's just a good way of showing you, and we'll get into some combat later. Basically you sit in there for a few seconds and the base becomes allied with your side. Then it starts feeding your team resources. Once you've done that across the whole map and you start fighting for control of them, then it really gets interesting. Okay, we're just going to skip forward now until enough players have joined, and I'll rejoin you in a minute or two. So we already own the A1 sector. We're going out to one of these little mining sectors now. Or mining station, or resource station, or whatever you want to call it. And we're going to go and stay in here and cap it, the team. Now capping these is important because they add resources which help your ships upgrade. So we've got that quickly. See an enemy ship up ahead. So I'm going to head towards him. I want to get into this cap circle for the next little resource node. But at the same time I want to put some damage down on that guy. So you can see the sniper's main attack there. Long range laser cannon. Connecting, doing some nice damage. Zoomed into sniper mode. That sniper mode incidentally isn't just something that the sniper ship has, it's something that all the ships have. You can zoom in. So we saw the laser cannon there. That's pretty good. It's a nice long range attack. We've also got a missile barrage which you can trigger off, which is more of a medium range attack or close. We've also got something called Mark Target. Now that's a bit like the old Hunter's Mark from World of Warcraft if anyone played that. Once a target is marked, you and your teammates do more damage to it until it wears off. So as you can see, we've blitzed through the Alpha sector, nearly taken all the little resource stations, and now we're heading on to A2. Take that, makes it a little bit harder for the enemy to hold this sector. However, looking over at the Beta sector, the enemy team have done exactly the same over there. But because I think we've probably got higher numbers here, or are going at it faster, we've got a slight advantage. And this is how the game works really. You need to cap these, gather the resources, and eventually upgrade your ship. And you want to do it faster than the enemy. You get your ships upgraded to a point just before the enemy can, then you've got a little bit of an advantage in battle until they get upgraded, and it gives you a chance to push them back and retake sectors. So I just jumped back to my home base there. That's an extra feature that you've got. It's on a longer cooldown than your standard jump drive, but it gets you back home from any point on the map. And that's allowed me to jump into this Beta sector. Jumped in, see it's full of enemies. I've marked the target, I've launched my missiles, I'm going into the laser cannon. That guy's backing off. There's an enemy flagship there, but luckily I'm out of range of his main flat cannons. And I just activated my shield. That's on the shield on this ship. It's a short duration shield, and it just basically intercepts a couple of attacks, or in this case a wave of missiles. So we can see I nearly got into trouble there, but I used the jump drive to get out, back to base. Or not, as the case may be. Looks like I didn't make it in time. Now there was some sneaky enemies trying to attack our base there, and if you look on the map it shows that it's partially captured. This is the deal with home bases. Once they become partially captured you can never reverse that. So jump back into the action around B1 and jump straight in. Enemy that we launched some missiles at, but it looks like he's done a runner. So let's get this healing station controlled, just to help push the enemy back a bit. But yeah, our home base now has some enemy cap points in, and that only ever goes up, you can't reset that. And also those healing stations, I believe you can upgrade your ship by flying through one of those once the upgrades are ready, and it's all automatic, you just have to fly to the correct place. Enemy in sight. I'm going to try and get into the next resource node, and from there I can be laying down a bit of fire whilst I'm capping. We have two enemies in sight. We've marked the target, see if we can open up with the main cannon. Our missiles hit. Now, there's something that I didn't realise. I was inadvertently turning the ship too far, and of course the guns on this ship don't turn all the way around. So I've had to turn back to facing to get the guns on. And we are doing some nice damage when the shots connect. Some more missiles. And he's gone. However, I do take a little wave of missiles in the face there. So I've just jumped into the middle of a fight here at A1, and we're coming up on an enemy flagship. Now I just back off on the engines because I don't want to get too close to that guy. We've launched the missiles, and now we're hitting him with the long range cannon. And you can see it taking nice effect there. The ship's been upgraded. We hit one of the levels required with the resources to upgrade the ships. Now I'm taking some hits here, And this sniper doesn't take hits very well. And oh no, I've got within his flak range. I've got to try and get out of there, but look at my hit points dropping. No, I've got to back off sooner than that.
Intel reports allies are capturing the station.
Okay, so we've had a quick look at the sniper. Now let's have a look at the flagship. This is a completely different style of play. This is a lot slower to move around, a lot more sluggish to respond, but it's got a lot more armour and hit points. In fact, this is the stock unupgraded version at the start of a battle, and it's got double the hit points that my sniper had when it was upgraded to level 3. Now this ship's got some pretty interesting abilities. Bound to number 1, we've got this block map ability. Now what that does, I think, is scramble the minimap of, I don't know whether it's just one targeted enemy or all enemies that are adjacent to you or in the blast radius. But that basically scrambles it. I've had it done to me and you can't see what's going on for a few seconds, which is, it's alright. It's also got a missile barrage, which is always useful for a decent medium range attack. It's got swarm drones. Now this is a little squadron of fighters you can see launching here. Remind me a little bit of the A-Wings from Star Wars. I think they look pretty nice. Now these will fly around, they'll defend you against enemy ships, and they'll go off and attack and do some damage. Now our main two attacks ourselves. On the left mouse button we've got the flak barrage. This is a very short range attack. You've got to be close to get this off, but it does great area of effect damage and it's rapid fire, and it can really stack up. And we've also got a thing like an ion cannon where we can disable an enemy ship's engines. That's really handy because it gives you a chance to close in where you can use your flak cannons. So here we are in the flagship. We've jumped into an enemy controlled sector and already we're trying to get some shots away on the enemy. Is that under the flagship I'm going up against them? I can't quite see from this angle. We're engaging it with the flak cannons. No, it looks like a sniper we're trying to shoot there. You can see these flak cannons, lovely area of effect flak it's putting out there, but it's very short range. We've disabled them with our other ability. Now that's like it disables the engine, which is really important in the flagship. It gives you a chance to catch up to enemy ships that are faster than you, which is pretty much every enemy ship. Flagship's big, slow and short ranged. Now look at the damage I've taken on that right hand side. I love those little fire effects that it's got. And I haven't quite worked out how the armour and stuff works. Your crew members do occasionally pop up with comments saying turn the ship to get some armour between us and the target. I don't know if that's implemented in the game yet or whether your ships do have different armour ratings on different sides or whatever. But it's definitely the case that, you know, the side of the ship you take the damage on is stored and relevant. Now we're being attacked by Mr. Wolf over there. He looks like he's in a hunter. It's a ship I haven't tried playing yet. So we're opening up. We've got various special abilities. We've got our flak batteries which are in range. I'm healing up whilst we're in here and this is going to be vital. Sounds quite low on health. But look at the damage our flak's putting out. And I think he managed to get away there. Nope, he's done some sort of little teleport manoeuvre behind us. Is he in range of the flak? Launch the missiles. We'll finish him off here, I think. There he goes. Now I'm being shot by a sniper and I can't see where he is. He's right over the other side of the map somewhere, but he is connecting. But I'm managing to heal up at the same time. Now this is one of the downsides of this flagship. It's very slow to do anything. Very short range weapons. You've seen that they're nice and lethal when they get into combat, but it can be tricky and sometimes frustrating trying to get the thing close enough to the enemy. There's nice little comments from the crew that come in, and there's some good little voiceover done. I really enjoy it. The ship's not very healthy. Mr. Wolf's appeared again. Can't see the thing that's shooting me. I don't know whether I could if I got closer. At the moment I'm just sitting within this healing station trying to just break even. Now you can see there that my flak cannon's out of range. If I want to engage Wolf, I need to go towards him, which might mean leaving the protection of my healing here. I've also launched some fighter drones which will swarm around the ship. They will attack enemy ships that come within range. There we go, missile barrage away. See if I can disable him as well. That was the disabling shot which knocks the engines out. And you can see it gives me chance to close in. Unfortunately I'm taking damage. I hadn't really noticed how far my health had dropped. And that's quite a cool thing actually, because you get so engrossed in trying to fight that you don't always notice what else is going on. I'll say it's a cool thing. I don't mind that at all. It's just player awareness. But it means that the game's engaging and it's interesting and it's grabbing your attention. So I've respawned back at base and gone straight back into the Alpha sector. Our team's struggling a bit in this match. Now, have I jumped in too late there? We've got... what's that thing? Is that a rogue? Yeah, it looks like one of the rogue type ships. Which are a real pain in the backside, I find. They're often cloaking and teleporting and getting out of the way. That, I think, is a clone that it's dropped. You can drop a clone which can distract you if you're not paying attention. Now, see if we can get this Hulk turned around towards Brewer over there, who's just vanished. Oh no, he's reappeared over there. Got the missiles away. Got the fighters out. We're racking some damage up. Now we've also got an ability called Block Map. That basically jams the minimap for ships. I'm not sure if it's just a targeted ship or all ships in the vicinity. But it's quite useful so they can't see what's coming or how many enemies might be on them. You can see the chaotic nature of the battles here. That's an enemy flagship coming in. It looks like it's going to be Goliath versus Goliath here. And that's going to be a case of who's upgraded the most, or who's got the most friends around. I've got the home base advantage here because I am healing up a bit at the same time as doing damage, but it won't keep pace with the sort of damage the flagship can kick out. And it looks like I'm on the losing side here. Getting some healing going, but oh, this is going to be close. Oh, that was another close one. I think I had some friends in there helping me out. So once again, I'm going to hang around in base and try and heal up. But no, someone takes me out with a big hit. So we engage Brewer again. Don't think my flak cannons are having the desired effect there. I'm not quite sure how to tell effective ranges of things at the moment. Launched a few missiles off. We've got the fighter drones out. They must be doing something. We must be tagging him there, the way that damage is stacking up like that. Getting in close. Closer we get to this ship, the better. Oh, he jumped out. Does he? No, it's not a jump. He's just warped over there a bit. And that playstyle seems to be the bane of the flagship. You just get close to a player and they seem to escape. And these hunters seem to be able to do it. I haven't played the hunter yet, so we'll be having a report on that soon. And also the assassin class can do it. There's Mr. Wolf again. Land a bit of firepower down on him. See, my ship looks badly on fire. Look at that on screen. Looks like I was caught in the middle of a shitstorm. So folks, that brings us to the end of the video for today. Hope you enjoyed watching it. Now I'll do some more videos over the coming week or two of the other ships, giving you an idea of how they play once I've given them a bit of a test out myself. I'm also going to put a video of this every now and again when the game receives a bit of an update, just so you can see how it's developing. I like my science fiction games, and I like team battles and big capital spaceship fights like this, so I'm going to keep an eye on it and see how it goes. I'm really looking forward to seeing the final version and seeing what else they put into this. Now if anyone's interested in playing the game, I believe the final model when it's released is going to be free to play, but for now if you want to play the early access you can buy into it on Steam. It was $6.99. That gives you founder status. I'm not quite sure what benefits that confers, but I'm sure it'll be something when the game goes live. So do check the game out if you fancy following its development. As I said, I'm going to be keeping an eye on it, and I'll put videos up every now and again just to let you know what changes have happened in it. Anyway folks, thanks very much for watching, hope you've enjoyed it, and if this is your sort of thing then stay tuned for more.